if we look at the Nordic real estate investment markets, of course, one of the key things that immediately comes out is the very positive economic context, and particularly against the wider economic scene at the moment that the Nordic markets present in particular. Their recovery from the crisis and the downturn in general has been pretty good, particularly in Sweden and Finland. Actually, Norway got away with a relatively mild downturn. Their fiscal position, in terms of the ratio of government debt to GDP and the position on government deficits, is extremely strong relative, again, to the position that we see elsewhere in Europe. They've got a very low ratio of government debt to GDP, and Norway is actually running quite a healthy surplus in terms of its government finances. And in turn, they've been rewarded in that respect by very low government bond yields within a very close range of, in fact, the German Bund. So all of that are very positive, and I guess additionally at the moment, benefiting perhaps that 3 out of the 4 Nordic economies are outside the euro, and certainly from the point of view of some investors, that does give them certain attractions in terms of maybe a safe haven status at the present time. So against that background, I think things looking pretty good. And in terms of the forward projections, the short to medium term economic outlook, also in general for the Nordic economies, looking pretty positive. What we've seen in terms of investment volumes is quite a strong recovery from the severe contraction that occurred in 2009. So we have seen investment volumes coming back. We're clearly not going back to 2006-07, but no market is at the moment. And also over the last couple of years, we've seen a rising share of cross-border investment in the Nordic markets, now again up to about 25%. Although within that, of course, it's actually flows of capital between the Nordic markets, from Sweden to Denmark or Norway to Sweden, that actually dominates, and there's less capital, a lower proportion coming into the Nordic markets from elsewhere. The other point I think that comes out quite strongly about the Nordic markets is that relative to their size, these are very active and liquid markets, of course, with a very strong domestic investor base. But I think that activity and liquidity does represent significant opportunity for investors from outside the region to come in.